Alright, today's lesson is on subtract integers. Okay, so we have two methods that we're going to go ahead and use. First one we're going to use is pictures, and the second one we're actually going to be using a rule for it. So for our first one with pictures, again we have a positive and a negative, so we're just going to use black as our positive, use red as my negative. Okay. Alright, so our first problem here we have is 5 minus 3. So we have positives, and let's use these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have my 5 positives, and when I subtract something, all I'm doing is taking away from it. And I'm taking away 3 from here, so I'm subtracting, minusing 3. So I'm actually just going to take 3, draw an arrow, I'm going to say take away. If you want to put slashes through them, you can as well. That leaves me with 2. So a pretty simple problem. Alright. Number 2, we have negative 2 minus negative 2. I'm sorry, negative 5 minus negative 2. So just like with our adding, we're just going to go ahead and do negative 5. We're going to put 5 of them there. Okay. And I'm going to subtract 2 of the negatives. So I'm going to circle 2, draw an arrow, and just say take away. That leaves me with 3 remaining, and they're 3 negative ones. So negative 3 is my answer. Okay. Alright, let's look at our next one. Number 3. We have negative 8 minus 1. So I'm going to start with my negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it says minus 1. This minus 1 right here, that's a positive 1. Okay? I don't have any positives to take away from. There's no black dots there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add another negative dot and a positive dot as well. Okay, so I added kind of those each other, they would cancel each other out is what would happen. Okay? Now I have a positive to take away. So I'm going to go ahead and take that positive, circle it, and draw an arrow to get out of there for take away. Now without that positive there, I now have 9 negatives. So my answer is negative 9. Alright, let's look at number 4. It's going to be just like it. So I'm going to start with positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then it says subtract 2 negatives. I have no negatives there to take away from. Okay. So I'm going to add 2 more positives and 2 negatives there. That way those would just cancel each other out, and that would leave me the 3. But what I've done is I've given myself 2 negatives to take away, so I'm going to subtract 2 negatives. So I'm going to circle these 2 negatives, take them away, and I get an answer of positive 5, because there's 5 positives left. So that's one way for you to do it, is by drawing pictures. That way it gets pretty tough when we get to the bigger numbers. So I'm definitely going to recommend our rule. It's going to be a lot easier for you guys to use. But it's just a visual for you guys to understand it. Okay. So our next one is our rule. Okay. And this rule is we don't subtract. We're going to add the opposite. That is the rule. We don't add, we don't subtract, we add the opposite. Once I use that rule, then I'm going to go ahead and follow my addition rules for added integers like I did before. Okay? Let's go ahead and show you a couple example problems here. So number 1 is negative 8 minus negative 2. So instead of subtracting, I'm going to add. So I'm going to change my subtraction symbol into a plus symbol. Now I can't just change it to a plus symbol. When I add, I actually have to add the opposite. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. So I'm going to make that little negative into a positive. So what I'm doing there now is my number sentence is negative 8 plus 2 is what I've changed it into. Okay. Then I'm going to follow my addition rules. I have a negative 8, I have a negative and a positive, which means they are different, which means I'm going to subtract the 2 numbers. So I'm going to do 8 minus 2 is 6. And then I'm going to take the larger value, or the larger number, the bigger number there, 8, is a negative. So my answer is going to be negative. So my answer is negative 6. All right, number 2. I have 4 minus negative 2. So we're not going to subtract. We're going to add the opposite. So it becomes plus, and instead of negative 2, it becomes positive 2. So now I get a 4 plus 2, which is just equal to 6. This one, notice how we have the same symbols. They're both positive, which means we're going to add the two numbers together. All right, let's go ahead and do number 3. Now we have 4 minus 8. We don't subtract, we add the opposite. So I'm going to change my subtraction symbol to an addition symbol. And now I have to change my 8 into the opposite value. So instead of positive 8, I'm now going to work with a negative 8. So my problem is 4 plus negative 8. I have different symbols. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the two. So I'm going to do 8 minus 4 is 4. Now I look at my values here. The bigger number is the 8 compared to the 4, and that is a negative. So my answer is negative 4. Alright, so I've got a few for you to go ahead and try. Okay. You can choose to use whichever method you want. If you want to try both, you can. But notice how when our numbers get bigger, like our negative 40 minus 66, do you really want to be drawing all those dots? So for the bigger ones, I definitely would try the we don't subtract, we add the opposite. So we have 4 problems here, and then we have 9 more problems there for you to do. So there's a bunch for you to go ahead and try. Okay? And if you'd like to go ahead and do the first 4, and then check and see what I do, and then go on to the next 9, and then check them, just to make sure you're doing it correctly, you can do that as well. So go ahead and pause your video and try them. Alright. So our first set of problems here that we had to do, we've got negative 7 minus negative 5. If we add the opposite, it turns into negative 7 plus 5. And that is equal to negative 2. Because what we do is negative 7 and negative 5 are different, so we go ahead and subtract the 2, and then we get negative 2. Number 2, we had 2 minus 8, so we go ahead and we don't subtract, we add the opposite, so it should turn into 2 plus negative 8. I notice that they are different, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract them, take the larger value, and I get negative 6. Number 3, I have negative 40 minus 66. So now it turns into negative 40 plus negative 66. I'm adding the opposite. I notice the symbols are the same. So I'm going to go ahead and add my two numbers up. 40 plus 66 is 106. They're both negative symbols, which means my answer is going to be negative. Alright, number 4. I've got negative 90 plus, looks like I wrote that one wrong. Go ahead and make an adjustment to that one. So it's not negative 19, which I had, so it should be negative 90. Okay, and it was minus negative 80. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change it to plus 80, and then I'm going to bring down, I'm going to change this this negative to a, this minus 20 to a plus negative 20. So my eventual problem after I change the subtraction symbols should be negative 90 plus 80 plus negative 20. First step I do is do negative 90 plus 80. They're different, which means I'm going to go ahead and subtract them. So I do 90 minus 80 is 10. So let's go ahead and change that. So the answer should be 10 there. The negative 90 has a greater value, so my answer is going to be negative 10. My next step, I have negative 10 plus negative 20. I notice they're both negatives. So I'm actually going to do the same, which means I'm going to add them. 10 plus 20 is 30. And they're both negative, so my answer is going to be negative. So the final answer for that one is negative 30. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and have you do the next part. If you've already done it, go ahead and check your answers. If you haven't, go ahead and do them first, and then we'll go ahead and check them. Alright, so you should have gotten negative 14, 19, negative 22, 32, negative 32, negative 6, -1, -24, and 52 should be your last answer.